On the go? Download the free andrewhogue.com iPhone and Android app so we'll never be apart.
andrewhogue.com, still Australia's first and only dedicated 24/7 metal radio station. And I've lost count the amount of times I've met this great man, spoken to this great man, but looking forward to having this great man back in Australia, because he's certainly no strangers to our shores. Of course, the double bill, Coal Chamber and Mudvayne, hitting Australia very, very shortly. Let's welcome Dez back to the station. Hello, my man.
How you doing, brother? Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to come down. We start rehearsals in 2 days. I've been jamming in my home booth every single day for almost a month. Like, we are ready. Actually, I just came out of my booth now from running the set to do the interview. So yeah, we're kicking up. We start rehearsals in 2 days, and here we go now. Right, I'm packed. My suitcases are actually at the front door, so I have nothing to worry about, and I'm ready to go. So yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a great buzz around this tour that's coming up, especially for a lot of fans who weren't old enough to see this lineup, of course, of Coal Chamber and Mudvayne, you know, being in Australia, because I don't think the last time Mudvayne was in Australia was 18 years ago. And I had a chat with Chad recently, and people talk about this sort of resurgence of the sort of new metal crowds in some respects, and a lot of younger generations haven't actually seen this. So take us through a bit about how it's been the last year or two since Coal Chamber decided to, you know, put the band back together and shifting aside Devil Driver for a minute. How's it been for you, just sort of getting back into that time of your life and go, wow, this is, you know, what we were creating back then? How does it feel?
I mean, I think it's incredible, right? A lot of people talking about the new metal resurgence, but it never really went away. I mean, the biggest bands in that genre, you know, Korn, Deftones, Disturbed, like, I mean, let me go down the line. They've never gone away. And you're essentially all your newer bands right now, you're living in new metal too. If you're not a Pope, if you're not a Viking, if you're not a pirate, if you're not a
Exactly.
so hello.
Yeah.
You're living it again, but you're not going to look back on it. You'll look back on it in 5 or 10 years and realize you were living in another new metal era, right? I think the fact that a lot of these bands are coming back up, it has to do with them actually getting back together like us and actually loving our songs again, loving hanging out with each other again, getting the vibe straight, getting rid of the things that may have taken the band apart, and actually coming out for the right reasons. You know, Coal Chamber is a different animal within that new metal crowd. So, you know, and like I said, I could go down the list, right? You have the Corns, and they're more a rap thing. You have Disturbed, they're more of like a actually pop metal thing. You have, I could go down the list. Coal Chamber has always been more of a goth, punk rock, furious, you don't know what you're going to get. You may get a fist fight. For me, the roughness of that is actually the realness of that. So to come back together the way that we are, to have rehearsals going the way that they are, to have the shows that we just did with Mudvayne in the summer go so huge, and do Sick New World, which is absolutely amazing with fucking a ton of great bands. I mean, I think it's needed, and it was needed in my life. It was needed in their lives. Burying the hatchet with people in your life is in essence a great thing. But when you can do it and it takes art to another level, it brings art out to people. That's an amazing gift that we've been given. So I kind of stare this down in with a very gratitude kind of attitude, and very humble that it's come back the way that it is. But the songs are great. The band is firing on all cylinders. I said this in an interview previously. My wife last night was watching us in 95, 96 on some YouTubes, and then watching the videos of the tour that we just did with Mudvayne. And it's like, oh my God, you guys are night and day. Like, you're so like, you know, it's firing on all cylinders and it's furious. We're that kind of band that doesn't come out and talk a lot. If you hear from me for more than 20 seconds, it's a miracle. We like to come out and slam songs. Boom, boom, boom. What do you got? Bring it to us. We don't want you to stand around. You're part of what we do. We want to see the pitch, the crowd surfing, the insanity. If you can jump on stage, try. I know the fucking venues are going to hate me for saying this, right? But we were always that band and especially coming out of Los Angeles, where we had a huge following from like the Southgate crew, a lot of actually Hispanic gang activity around us. Like it was always a very vicious thing when we played. And I think that's what differentiates us from the pack that kept going when we broke up, right? And that we're just not going to go through this motion as like, oh, it's we're performers and we're going to go out and just do our business. No, man, it's about giving it all, giving it 110%, coming off the stage so sweaty you can't even see straight, and giving it to whoever's going to go on before us and whoever's going to go on surely after us. Go give it to them. And I've always said this, and you've heard me with Devil Driver. If I lose that, I'm out. I'm going to walk. So, and I haven't lost that, and I'm ready to go. I'm starting off my days. I get up in the morning with sunrise at home. I meditate, I do yoga, I run 5 to 6 miles. I go in and I work because I'm a manager. I work all day long. I go in, then I take a lunch break. I do my set, which is an hour and 10, hour and 12 minutes. I get off that. I go up, I run another 5 miles. So for me, I want to come after it. With anything that I do in life, to be honest with you, but Cold Chamber especially, because we were always that band in LA that, you didn't know what was going to happen at a show. We've had to shut down shows on the Sunset Strip. We've had to shut down shows elsewhere because the crowd is very punk rock. So that's what we carry with us. So when you ask me about what differentiates you from the group, from the pack, from the new metal pack, we're not so artsy, baby. Like we come out to slit throats, and that's where we're at. And I mean, I can't say it any other way than that, really.
Well, when I spoke with Chad last week, we talked also about, and people talking about this sort of new metal resurgence, but he says that all the bands around that era all sounded different, which I totally agree with. It was just all these sort of B versions that crept in thinking, well, let's just borrow that sound and we'll try and get as big as them. And that's what saturated. And that's when people said, I'm just over this sound. But again, he's right. He talked about the Ozfest, and you look at that lineup, and as we talked about it before, majority of the bands are still active. The Corns, Disturbs, you guys, of course, have come back as well. Is there anything happening in the Cold Chamber camp as far as new music? Is there plans in the works, or it's just reconnection purely for celebrating a history of music?
No, we are not just in it to just celebrate the past at all. And the vibe around this band and the vibe with meet and greets and the vibe with shows has been one that you can't just ignore. So no, we are thinking about new music. We are definitely not just in this to like revisit some past whatsoever. And Chad was correct. My brother was totally correct. Everybody sounds completely different. And it's kind of, he's reiterating what I just said. And I think that, where some of the bands, look, I have to be honest, like we were the first 2 or 3 bands out of the gate in that scene. The second, third generation of bands that came, I fell out and was not into at all. And it got very like, let's take new metal to the radio. If you found Cold Chamber on the radio, it was a stroke of fucking luck. It was because the radio or media picked up on something and they wanted to be cool, but we were not tailoring our art to fucking be on the radio whatsoever. And I refuse to fucking do that with either of my bands. I do the art I do. If it makes it, if it doesn't, if it fails, it doesn't. But I know I did it on my own merit. There's something so fucking ugly about the later bands in nu metal that said, if we paint the picture with red, if we use blues and reds, the painting will sell more. And I was like, well, then fucking script that off my roster. Don't even fucking bring red or blue into the fucking situation. I'm all green and purple here. Which actually are my favorite colors, green and purple. Let's go. And I think, look, that's where I stand on the whole nu metal thing. And I won't go into what bands they were or whatever. You can do your own decisive fucking research. But for me, we were always the band that pounded it. And we were always the band that was like the most aggressive out of the genre, the most punk rock, the most goth, the most dark, the most obsessed with fucking making sure that the show was like 110%, and we may break an ankle. Like, fuck it, let's go. Jump off the highest thing you have on stage and get the fuck down. And I think that's the essence of what nu metal was in the very beginning, was something so vibrant and so insanely driven through massive influences. And you know, everybody had their own influences, and Korn, Deftones, Disturbed, I could go down the list. Cold Chamber had way different influences than those bands, right? My influences are Black Flag, Bauhaus, the fuck, you know what I mean? White Zombie, actually. Like, I could go down the list of the stuff that influenced us back in the day. Fear Factory. And we just wanted something volatile, visceral, and fucking happening. And I think we have not lost that. We're obviously not in our 20s. So we could be going up there doing things through the motions, like a lot of bands that are 20, 30 years old. That is not what's going to happen with us. Not one fuck. When it does start to happen, I'll take a walk.
Mm-hmm. So how are the new sort of songs sounding as far as sort of ideas that you're penning for Cold Chamber in 2024?
We've only just now started to speak about, like, what do you want to do? Right.
Okay.
Like, we've only got 4 records. We only got 4 records out. Like, what do you want to do? And the consensus is we have a lot of music left. So we will and have started to write, but it hasn't come together as a group yet. So everybody's writing, I'm writing, everybody's writing. And I think when we come off this run, March, April, May of this year, that's probably the year we're going to get together in a room, hash it out, see what the fuck is volatile, visceral, and happening and poignant, right? And then go from there. And it certainly can't be throwback. You know, don't get me wrong, we have a sound. But even on Rivals, which is the 4th record we have after Dark Days, and it happened 10, 12 years later, like, it's so different. It has our sound, but it's much more upped the game. I mean, I had an interview the other day that actually said, you know, I love everything he was like 23 years old. He's like, I love everything you guys have done, but Rivals to me is my favorite record you guys have ever done. I said, well, you know, you caught up on what we were doing there, which is like, bring it to a new place. Don't ever do a throwback. You know, it's like, I love Black Sabbath, you know, Led Zeppelin. I could go back in all the shit, the Doors, what have you, right? But should those bands, they're all defunct now, but should those bands want to do something, like, just don't do something exactly the way you did it. Let us hear a fresh take. You know, it's actually why I've loved Ozzy's solo career, to be honest with you. Is
Same.
He does records that are, you know, fucking what? You know, completely over here, completely over there. It's like, that's art, man. That's true art. You know, we could go about what we're doing and make just what we're doing for the masses, and without trying to put some artistic endeavor involved. That I don't think that's going to happen with Cold Chamber. It just never has.
So it's just going to be an element of surprise for something coming up in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't say right now, oh, we're making a record. Like, the headline I want out of this isn't, oh, Cold Chamber's making a new record. That's not right. But what I'm saying is, organically, we are speaking about who are we as individuals and as a band. Do we want to do something that, and only if it's going to live in infamy, do I even want to do it? Because I could go and just play these 4 records for the next 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I never stick a plane loco. I'm going to post a post on my Instagram in about an hour and a half, 2 hours from now, of me singing Loco in my booth today. And fuck, is it heavy? I mean, just it's so heavy, you know, and I can't wait to post it, actually.
Get it out there. Now let's talk a bit about Devil Driver. How's things been for you in the camp? I know we did the Dealing with Demons Volume 2 last year. So, I mean, I guess you've always had a bit of a juggling act of managing different things, but how do you feel at the moment, just sort of separating your works from Devil Driver to sort of Cold Chamber mode? Is there much of a shift for you to sort of go from that to that?
It's night and day.
Yep.
You know, and like you said, yeah, I run a lot of businesses. I mean, I'm a manager. I run Sun Cult, which is in Zoomies and Tilly's, and I run a lot of businesses. And for me, I think everything has its place. Everything has its ways you need to do it, right? So Devil Driver has been great. Like right now we are on a blackout completely. There's a lot of stuff happening within the camp, labels, producers, a lot of stuff happening, and there'll be some statements coming out, you know. So keep your ear tuned. We're going to do some magnificent shit, you know. Right now, my main focus is on Coal Chamber and these Australian shows. Then I come back and I have nothing booked from then this year, and we'll see what comes up. But the fact is, and we kept it low because the first time my wife went through cancer and had surgeries and stuff, we were on the internet about it. We told everybody what was going on. We wanted to kind of hand people strength through it. Hey, you can get through this in 2019, 20. But she just now actually came through surgery 3 weeks ago and has been going through cancer for the last 8 months while she was on tour with me, even. Like the strongest fucking person I know, my best friend in the whole fucking world is my wife. And now she's cancer free. So she's ready to go on tour with me too and kind of have a vacation or what have you. So I'm taking this year to do music. I hope to get in and do a Devil Driver record. I hope to get in and do a Coal Chamber record. I've got something else going as well that I've been working on. I hope to get in and do 3 bodies of work this year and see what happens with touring third, fourth quarter. We'll see. But there'll definitely be no Devil Driver runs this year whatsoever. There's some insane things happening within the Devil Driver camp. So John Miller, my longtime bass player and writer, rejoined the group after 12, 13 years gone. And we've got something else as well to announce very soon that's going to be pretty fucking mind-blowing. So, yeah. Hard for me to keep my mouth shut, but I'm Italian. I could do it.
Well, I was just about to ask you, could you elaborate on that third project? But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But also congratulations too for your partner for getting through a serious cancer. So much respect there. But let's check out those tour dates that are coming up for the up and coming Australian tour, which is a week away, basically. The 14th of February, the first show kicks off at Fortitude Music Hall in Brisbane. The 16th at the Hordern Pavilion in Sydney. Festival Hall in Melbourne on the 17th. Hindley Street Music Hall in Adelaide on the 19th of Feb, and in Perth Metro City on the 21st. So what I did with Chad when we had our chat, we got him to choose his favourite, well, I'm going to go with you. We're going to get you to choose your favourite Mudvayne song because you're playing with him, because he chose a Coal Chamber track. We can get you to choose your favourite Coal Chamber song and also favourite Devil Driver song. So how's that for 3 for 3?
All right. You know what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to pull up some Mudvayne tracks, and oddly enough, I came in last night, and my middle son, I have 3 sons, and my middle son was listening to Mudvayne, and he's like, oh, I really like these guys. So like, yeah, bro, they're fucking great. I mean, you know, it's like, of course, like,
Yeah.
so, well, I mean, a lot of people are going to say this, but I mean, I love Dig personally. You know, I don't know. I could go, I like Dig, but everyone's going to choose that. So I think play Forget to Remember, I think is a great track. I don't know if they're playing it live or not. I know they play Dig. It's an obvious. It's like Coal Chamber coming in not playing Loco. It'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean, so
well, that's what Chad tries. Loco.
Yeah. It's like, you know, and possibly maybe he's not even familiar with the whole fucking what we do, and so he's like, he knows Loco, right?
Yeah.
I know Dig, but I'll choose Forget to Remember. I mean, I think it's, you know, great performance vocally and for the band, and you know, what's real special about us is the tour is that we toured with Mudvayne all through the summer, and it's a long fucking tour in a hot summer, a lot of crews, big amphitheaters, right? Not one problem, not one bullshit thing happened, not one, you know, crew said something to somebody, a band member said, not one fucking thing. So I was like, awesome. This is the shit. Like, you rarely have that happen on tours. So when they called us and said, hey, you want to do Australia? We're like, fuck yeah, let's go. You know, we were going to come over and just headline, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's a no fucking brainer. We'll come over and do our own thing in our own time. But going over with Mudvayne, it's going to be a great time. I'm going to personally when I'm done with my set, I'm going to sit and watch their set. So that's pretty rare for me to be honest with you. I normally, jet out,
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And what's the Cold Chamber tune you want to hear, as well as a Devil Driver tune to conclude our chat?
Play Not Living
Yep.
by Cold Chamber, and by Devil Driver, play Monsters of the Deep.
All right.
Slower, more groovy, heavy track, not really played, really an underground type tune. But Monsters of the Deep for me is just, it's got my fucking signature all over it. Yeah.
Well, it's good to have your signature here with our chat, and look forward to having you back in Oz very shortly, Dez. It's going to be a pleasure, and hell of a lineup too. So looking forward to it.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, we start rehearsal in 2 days. I'm ready to go, man. We fly out at night, which means I'm going to get to sleep on the plane.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to go. The wife is better, cancer free, ready to go. Fucking our crew is like, the text between our crew and our band is hilarious. Like every night I find myself in like stitches. I'm like laughing fucking hysterically because people are ready for this, right? And we're coming gunning. I hope Mudvayne is ready, to be honest. I want to talk to Chad right before the shows and go, get ready, homie, because I'm ready to go. I'm so ready. Yeah, we're honored to come down and humbled that these shows are doing so well. I got to tell you, the gratitude is all over this camp. I mean, I think almost all of these shows are either very close to sold out or sold out. So if you are watching this and you don't have a ticket and you're thinking about coming, like I would go immediately because they're going to be done. Another thing I want to mention as well is we're dropping meet and greets and giving it to children's camp for cancer, right? So these kids get to go to camp. Maybe it's their last time or first time going to get outside in the weather, when they're going through such horrible circumstances. So we're giving partial proceeds to that. So we really want everyone to kind of, get a meet and greet if you can. Come say hello to us, take a photo, and give back as well. I didn't want to just come to Australia and just take. I want to make sure when I leave a part of me there. And cancer, obviously, going through my family in the worst way. I want to have some kind of a heart about it, some kind of a giving nature. It's who I am from the core. So please, if you see the meet and greets, please come and sign up for them. We'd appreciate it. So would the kids.
Awesome. Great cause. All right, Dez, it's been a pleasure. Look forward to having you back in Oz very, very shortly, and safe travels, sleep on that plane, and let's check out a plethora of your musical output right here on andrewhogue.com. Thank you, Dez.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day.
You too. All right, let me just hit